The UFC is in lovely Shanghai, China this weekend for UFC Fight Night featuring, let's call it a doubleheader here because we got a main event of Johnny Walker versus Zhang Mingyang, but you could really make the case that the real main event is the co-main event. It takes place in the featherweight division between Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega. Hello, everybody. Brett Okamoto here to talk to you about things from a gambling perspective. That is Ian Parker, and no, all of a sudden this show does not have a mandatory uniform. This is just how in sync we are on the UFC Best Bets. We woke up and picked the exact same t-shirt, apparently, to wear on UFC Best Bets, and I'm excited to talk about this card over in China. But before we do, let's look back at Chicago, how we did at UFC 319 with our bets. Mr. Parker.
We had a winning night. I was happy to break the cold streak. I was hoping for a better night, but I will take the win. You know what? Lupi Goides, that was my favorite play of the night. Parker's premium play. It hit nicely. Barbosa closed. The one that really gets me, though, is Khamzat Chimaev. Super impressed how dominant he was, but you can't be in that dominant position, not even attempt to finish. Come on, Khamzat. Let's get another winning week back-to-back. Let's go.
And we're going to try and do it here with this card that, again, is headlined by Chinese prospect here, Zhang Mingyang, who is a big-time favorite, minus 370 against Johnny Walker. Mingyang has been very, very good in the UFC. 3 appearances, 3 first-round finishes, 3 performance of the night. I don't know if that bodes too well for Johnny Walker, who we have seen go down before. And the odds reflect that, obviously. As I said, minus 370 favorite Zhang Mingyang. How are we looking to bet this one over in China, Ian?
Yeah, this screams that the UFC says, we got Walter Walker who's winning, so we don't need Johnny Walker anymore. I feel bad for him. This is a terrible matchup for him. Zhang has looked nothing short of essentially flawless. He's got great durability. The knockout power is there. He's not reckless. He's pretty strategic with his striking. And Brett, I'm gonna keep this really simple. I think his UFC record of 3-0 goes to 4-0. I think that fight knockout streak and first round knockout streak goes to 4-4 right there. And I'm gonna make him one of my 2 props of the night here. He's also going to be in the parlay. I'm going to go with the first round knockout. You know, Johnny Walker, he has a little bit of a ground game. We've kind of seen it. We saw it against Ion Cutelaba. But when Walker gets hit, he just goes down. His chin is essentially gone. He throws caution to the wind. Whatever game plan he has. I mean, look, he's with a good coaching staff now. I believe if anyone can get him on track, it's them. But I think he's in for a rude awakening again. I think this is going to be his 3rd knockout loss in a row in the first round. So Zhang, first round, TKO or KO, minus 135. I'm going to take my shot there.
All right, so we're getting specific with it there on the first round. And you know what, Ian, I have given this 205-pound division some flack over the years. It has not been the deepest. It's actually kind of turning around here. I can point to some fights at the light heavyweight division that I'm like, hey, there is a future path forward for this division, and Zhang Mingyang is a big part of that. Let's move to the next fight. It's 145 pounds. Brian Ortega taking on Aljamain Sterling. As I mentioned before, this is, I think, really the main event. Zhang Mingyang, of course, over there, he's going to headline in his native China, but these guys deserve our full attention. And Brian Ortega is coming in at plus 240. I got to be a little honest. I thought that, not surprised, of course, that Sterling is the favorite. It's a little wider than I would have guessed. How about you? Is this about where you thought the line would be?
Not only are our t-shirts the same, our thought process is the same, especially because where Aljo is great wrestling jiu-jitsu, Ortega jiu-jitsu-wise should be able to match that and protect himself from getting subbed by Aljamain Sterling. But on the feet, I actually think Brian Ortega is the better striker. We've seen him get knockouts. We've seen him stay on the feet. And he's got crazy durability. And Aljo's durability minus a flying knee is there as well. So, Brett, I'm going to make this my premium play. We're going to go that this fight goes the distance. This is also a very unnecessary 5-round co-main event. I'm not sure why they did this, but both fighters, durable. I think this is going to be either a boring stand-up fight or a strategic grappling match. Either way, bell to bell, premium play minus 185. I'd love to go back-to-back with this one as well.
Well, I think the big thing here, and maybe this is why the line is a little higher than we think, is because Aljamain Sterling knows exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to make his way to a featherweight championship. Brian Ortega, he was going to go to lightweight, and then he's back at featherweight. We expected him to go to lightweight. Now he's still hanging around at featherweight. So I just think that maybe the intentions are more clear with Aljamain Sterling, so that always impacts the line. But if Brian Ortega is going to China to win a fight, I think he's a live dog here at plus 240. But of course, Aljamain Sterling is still very, very talented at 145. Let's move to a middleweight fight. It's Michel Pereira taking on Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus is a plus 220 underdog here. How are you looking to bet this one?
Look, Kyle Dawkins is someone who, once he got bounced from the UFC, he's gone 4-0. 3 out of the 4 have been finishes. He's a very talented fighter, still young, getting his second chance here. But this is a really tough ask over Michel Pereira, especially in a 3-round, not a 5-round fight where we've seen Pereira kind of gas a little bit. But I'm going to play this differently. We've seen Dawkins, when he's been a big underdog, be able to be competitive and stick around for a bit. I also think Pereira, coming off a loss, is going to be a little hesitant to kind of go for it, especially when Dawkins is going to try and take this fight to the floor. I'm going over 1.5 rounds here. I think if Pereira gets a knockout, it's going to be at the end of the second. Possibly win this by a decision, which is a very interesting prop as well. Let's go over 1.5. I think Dawkins is going to make this a little bit more competitive than people think.
All right, so we're taking the over there in the middleweight fight. Let's move to the lightweight division. Rongzhu taking on Austin Hubbard. Rongzhu coming in pretty close to a 3-1 favorite. This is another fight that has some pretty long odds, and you are taking Rongzhu and the over to drop the odds down a little bit.
Yeah, I really love what I saw out of Rongzhu and the improvements he made against Cody Steele. And with Austin Hubbard, I just don't think he's going to get any better than he's been. And he hasn't looked great. We know he's got good durability. I think it's what gets us to probably bell to bell here. Rongzhu's improved striking, his takedown defense, and he's got an underrated ground game as well. So you already said it. Rongzhu over 2.5. We get that number from -270 to -115. I think Hubbard's durable enough to stick it out to the end.
We are moving right along with our best bets. These are Ian's best bets of the night. The next one takes place at the Flyweight division. Charles Johnson and Loney Kavanaugh. How are you playing this one?
I'm going underdog here. I'm going Charles Johnson. As much as I think Kavanaugh is a very solid prospect, a lot of fun, this is a big step up in competition, and Charles Johnson has also fought much higher level competition. So for me, this feels like a Charles Johnson win by decision. This feels like, man, I can't lay that line on -200 on a prospect that hasn't fought this far up yet. Johnson's durable. He's a very good wrestler, good striking. He put out Josh Van, who's going to be fighting for the title. +170, give me the seasoned vet. I think he pulls off the upset here.
Yeah, that is a pretty wild win there when you think about what Joshua Van is doing. That Charles Johnson beat him not too long ago and also finished him. Let's close out the best bets for UFC Fight Night. We're going to do it in the heavyweight division. Sergey Pavlovich, Waldo Cortez Acosta. How are we looking to bet this heavyweight fight?
I'm willing to lay the juice here on Pavlovich to win by TKO, KO decision. I'm very surprised that this number is as low as it is. I believe that Acosta lost to Sergey Spivak, but even then, Sergey Pavlovich, we've seen him go the distance more than once. He's a good striker, power striker. He also has a background in Sambo, and he can wrestle. Acosta just has a right hand. I don't see him connecting here. I think Pavlovich, I really think he's going to put him away. So if you want to get better odds here, take him by knockout. But this kind of protects us a little bit, costs a little bit more. I am very confident that Pavlovich gets the win here.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly seen Pavlovich put somebody out. So if you're thinking this is a get-right spot for him, then maybe you do want to lower the odds just a little bit more on the knockout in the first round, because that is all that guy did to start off his UFC career. We have 2 props of the night. You actually gave one already. It was in the main event. We took Zhang Mingyang in the main event. Where are we going for the other prop of the night over there in China?
Yeah, we're going to go with Yiza to submit Weston Wilson. I mean, Wilson is good at jiu-jitsu in his own right, off his back. He's got a lot of submissions in the first round, but he's fighting someone who I just think is going to be able to power through him past that guard, possibly catch him on the feet and then grab a neck at some point. So I'm going to go with that as well. It's a little chalky at -175. I would be happier at a -150 number. This is the highest I would go at that prop, but he's a -1400 favorite. So if you're going to play this, you got to go prop. That's his path to victory. That's where we're going.
All right, ladies and gents, we've got your best bets, your props of the night. We've got 2 more. One is the long shot parlay. Where are we headed for this one, Ian?
All right, so let's go Sergey Pavlovich to win by decision. I know we talked about the knockouts, but Acosta is very durable. We've seen Pavlovich go the distance before. We're going to go there. Sumajari by decision and Su Young by decision as well. Both guys fighting durable fighters. We know that Su Young Yu is more of a jiu-jitsu guy, will take position over submission. I think he kind of lays in praise. +1711 on the long shot. I like this one.
All right, 3-teamer there at 17-1. And last order of business, Parker's parlay for that UFC Fight Night.
This one, a little bit more on the chalky side. We're going to go with Zhang Mingyang in the main event. Sergey Pavlovich and Nuraji finish it out. +111 on a 2, a 3, and 5-1 favorite. Keep it simple. Money line. Let's go.
There you go. There's all of the orders of business on this UFC Best Bets. Special start time, of course, over there in China. So the main card is on ESPN Plus at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. So hopefully you're early risers. You're going to get up for that main card on ESPN Plus. Thank you so much for watching the show. Hopefully we made you a little smarter, put some money in those pockets, and we'll see you next time on UFC Best Bets. Take care.